this is interesting.
So, as you know, I've been on leave for a week and a half, which was lovely. I had a wonderful time. And just before I went on leave, we were talking about the service, what we're going to do. And I just said, actually, I've been thinking about Job a lot. It's just been coming up in a lot of different things I've been listening to, and just hearing some different things about the book of Job that I hadn't heard before, and it was really intriguing me. And I was hoping in my time off to just listen to a few talks about Job. And then David said, oh, Job is my absolute favourite book in the Bible. I didn't realise. Been working together quite some time and I hadn't heard him say that. So I was like, really? Wow. Why?
Well, when I say it's my favourite, there's probably a few close contenders, but Job certainly is right up there. Shall I tell a couple of reasons why I think it's my... Well...
Maybe we need to say a little bit what the book is.
Yeah. So Job's kind of about in the middle of your Old Testament. Even though it's in the middle, some scholars say it's quite possibly the oldest book of the Old Testament. So that kind of has a nice kind of thought that book of Job is quite possibly the oldest. So it's interesting. That's interesting, I think. The story basically is around this wealthy guy, Job, has a big family and lots of wealth, but he loses it all. The book starts with this curious interaction between God and the devil. And the devil says to God, Job loves you just because you make it easy for him, you hedge him, you protect him. And God says, no. And so it's complicated, but basically all this terrible stuff happens to Job, and Job's faith stays strong. I like the story. I like it for that. But I also like it. I like it for so many reasons. It's poetry. Some of the most amazing poetry. Should I read some of it now?
Yeah. It's almost psalm-like, isn't it?
Oh, it's just incredible. So the story starts with all this bad stuff's happened to Job. Lost his family, lost his health, lost his property, lost everything. And he's sitting on a heap of dirt, scraping the, how do you describe it? Scraping the sauce from his feet with an old shell. Like he's just, can't get any lower. And 3 of his friends hear about it, so come to see him. And they sit in silence with him for a week, don't say a word. And then after that week, this is what happens. He said, after this is chapter 3, after this, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. He said, may the day of my birth perish, the night that was said a boy is conceived. That day, may it turn to darkness. May God above not care about it. May no light shine upon it. Now that it's incredible. He's just enveloped with grief. But in terms of poetry, that's incredible, isn't it? Like, may the day of my birth disappear from the calendar. He's so filled with grief. It's just too much. So he wishes that even the day of his birth would disappear. And it's full of that sort of stuff. Chapter 6, if only my anguish could be weighed and all my misery be placed on the scales, it would scarcely outweigh the sand of the sea. Again, it's graphic about this image of how overwhelmed with grief he feels, but just his writing, it's incredible. And the whole book is full of that kind of that beautiful, creative, evocative kind of writing. Shall I go on? There's a really great. Basically, the whole book is a conversation. It's Job speaking to his friends, Bildad, Zophar, and Eliphaz.
Yes.
So they have a conversation, and the friends talk, and then Job responds, and the friends talk, and right at the end, God talks. And I love that sort of interaction. But the thing that it really highlights is good and bad listening. So it starts really well. The friends come, and if you've ever had someone that has faced overwhelming tragedy, but you don't know what to say. So what do? Do you stay awake? No. These friends, they just rocked up and they just sat there for 7 days. So they arrived today. Don't say a word. All day. All day Monday, nothing. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Don't say a word. They're just sitting with Job, allowing him to feel their presence and to kind of hold his sadness. And so, like, sometimes silence is the best way to care for someone.
And then they open their mouth.
But then they open their mouth. That's right. Exactly. So then you've got this 7 days of silence, and then they open their mouth. And they try and convince Job that you must have done something wrong. You must have done something wrong for God to have done this.
They blame him.
They blame everybody. They try and blame him. They blame God. They even say, did I write it down? Oh, here we go, in chapter 8. He says, when your children sinned against him, he gave them over to the penalty of their sin. But if you will seek God earnestly and plead with the Almighty, if you are pure in heart, even now he will rouse himself on your behalf and restore you to your prosperous state. So their whole idea is you've done something wrong and God's punishing you.
And the key is how Job starts. I think it's almost verse 1, isn't it? He is blameless.
Blameless, yeah.
Like they use that word.
Yeah.
Like he's almost a Christ figure
Yeah.
in this story, isn't he? To use that word that he's blameless.
So the friends, I think they want to feel more comfortable. And they feel more comfortable if there's an explanation. If there's some reason for this tragedy, then I'll feel better. So they try and, even his wife, what'd she say? Give up your integrity, curse God and die. Even his wife says to him, God's the cause of all this misery. Get rid of God and you'll be okay. And so the wife says, get rid of God and you'll be okay.
And I think we sometimes go to that blame. So we're trying to analyse the situation. So they're trying to analyse Job, his children, and the whole situation. Well, where can we lay blame? Because if we can't lay any blame, then there's no control. But if I can analyse the situation and choose to where that I'm going to pinpoint, where's that problem? Job did this, or his kids did this, or whatever it is, then I can try and make sure it doesn't happen to me. Because if I can work out what he did wrong for all that to happen, then I better make sure I don't do that, because then that won't happen to me. And I think that's part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
We accuse and blame, and it's part of our self-preservation.
Yeah.
Because we're scared. They're
And
scared. They don't want to end
exactly
up like
right.
Job.
They want to control it, but the story ends, spoiler alert, God is sovereign. God is sovereign. And there's no tricks that I can do to, like life is a bit wild. It's like God doesn't do stuff to make your life misery. So life is a bit wild. And sorry, I interrupted. But
No, that's all right. I love, so in amongst it, there's one of those key verses, I think, is in Job 19. So, he has had a lot of complaining, which God never pulls him up for later. He doesn't say you did anything wrong, Job. But Job does do some complaining and things, but then he still comes to, in the midst of all this, he says, I know that my Redeemer lives, and that in the end he will stand on the earth. Like it's prophetic. I've heard it said that Job is like one of the prophets. I know that my Redeemer lives, that in the end he will stand on the earth. And after my skin has been destroyed, yet in my flesh I will see God. I myself will see him with my own eyes, I and not another. How my heart yearns within me. He still found that place in the middle of despair.
Yeah. It's just remarkable. Like even there's a passage, did I write it down? Here you go, in chapter 23. He says, my complaint is bitter. His hand is heavy in spite of my groaning. If only I knew where to find him. This is another example of this beautiful poetry, you know. He says, if I go to the east, he's not there. If I go to the west, I can't find him. If he's at work in the north, I don't see him. When he turns to the south, I catch no glimpse of him. But he knows the way that I take. It's beautiful, like, I can't find you, God, but you know where I am. Like, it's this beautiful picture. You know, sometimes you kind of lose your way or you're so overwhelmed with what's happening. And so that's Job's experience. It says, doesn't matter where I go, where I look, I'm just overwhelmed and I can't find you. But I take comfort knowing that you know me. You know where I am, you know. He knows the way that I take. I'm not abandoned. I may feel as though I'm in the dark, but God's got his hand upon me very firmly.
Nice. And then, so we've got 30 odd chapters of this poetry of Job speaking, and he's got his friends all accusing him, and then he's trying to stand up for himself, and yet he's also in the depths of despair. So you've got all this poetry, he's asking God questions, and then you get to verse 38, and now God speaks, Yahweh speaks. And it says, then Yahweh spoke to Job out of the storm, or another translation says, out of the whirlwind, and he said, who is this that obscures my plans with words without knowledge? Brace yourself like a man. I'm going to question you and you will answer me. This is what he says. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundations? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. Who stretched a measuring line across it? On what were its footings set? Or who laid its cornerstone while the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy? And it goes on, and it's all this beautiful imagery of creation. It's beautiful poetry here and all about creation. It's where were you, Job? It's, he's basically saying, I am God, Creator God, the Almighty. And I know when I've been in the depths of pain, that's where I end up having to land, is I don't understand because I'm trying to fix things or something's out of control. Usually it's about control. We've lost control. I want to regain control, but I am not God. I am not God. God is God. And that's where I've ended up having to release that control in my life of me trying to control things and let God be God. I'm not always going to understand, but God is God, not us. Creator God, the Almighty. We can't fathom it. It's amazing. And that's what God doesn't answer Job's questions, but this is how he answers it. It's basically, I am God.
Yeah.
And you're not. And then he does give Job back everything. It ends up with that he ends, I think, he's healed of his sores and he gets all the, sheep and goats and donkeys and all those things are doubled with what he had before. He ends up with 1,000 donkeys. Who wants 1,000 donkeys? He may not have. But he ends up, all those things are doubled. And then he ends up with children again. But it's interesting, the children aren't doubled. The children are the same amount. He ends up with the 7 sons and 3 daughters, which possibly has a bit of a resurrection theme. So we've got the provision here, but then there's this idea of resurrection. The same amount of children are restored to him. And then it ends with this really interesting verse. And their father granted them, he talks about the daughters. So nowhere in the land were they found women as beautiful as Job's daughters, and their father granted them an inheritance along with their brothers. Women weren't given inheritances back then. This is not how life was back then. So that really stands out as something incredibly different to the times. And it's this beautiful restoration of, it's almost a picture, I think, of the new heavens, new earth, the restored earth, is that blessing for all and the importance of...
And quite remarkable. If the book is as old as some suggest it is, these ideas like predate some of that male focusedness, and grace is right throughout it. And yeah, it's a great book.
Which I think when I was reflecting on this and some of the components in it, and we're talking about the friends and how that they're working with Job, kind of points us to what we're looking at doing next year as quite a significant series for next year that we're going to do early-ish in the year, called Creating Sanctuary. And so we're looking at this, our congregation, who we are, but to create sanctuary, to be a place that's safe for different people. So whether that be people grieving or have gone through trauma or have a disability or might be LGBTQ people or
whatever.
Something else.
Yeah, we've got a list. So we want it to be kind of a bit of a practical series. So we've been thinking about it for a while now, and it's part of a bigger picture that we really think we want to engage more in the community and church family with this safety but mental health stuff. So support groups, and we've got some really exciting ideas about what that's shaping up to. And I just lost track of what I was saying. Creating sanctuary, that's right, yeah. So creating sanctuary, like you said, for those that are struggling with mental health. Creating sanctuary for those who are even just struggling as a Christian, whatever it might be. So yeah, it's...
Yeah, so we want it to be a place where people can come for sanctuary.
Yeah.
And not come to a place that pushes you out or says you're not welcome. We want to be a place of welcome. And that takes... it takes intentionality sometimes to be able to do that. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that. It's sort of all coming together.
Yeah, and I think we already largely are that, aren't we? We're a church that does create sanctuary for all kinds of different parts of life. But I guess, what's that saying? Like, we leak. So we just want to be...
I don't know the saying.
Like...
It's the saying that we leak?
We leak. So, not for you, Sarah. You've already given me one hit today. Like what's it like? It like we're good, but we kind of forget it. We drift. We leak. We full of holes. That's what it is. Yeah, that's right. This is not going in the right direction, is it? Good
I'm
job.
still waiting for the saying.
I don't know. I'll think of it soon.
We'll put it in the newsletter.
Put it in the newsletter. Oh, we won't. Probably best not, I think.
It's all right. No one reads the newsletter.
Ah.
Oh, you do. That's nice.
So read the book of Job. It's you could read it in one setting. I'd encourage you to read it in one setting. It's solid. Like it's 42 chapters? Yeah, definitely. I'll be up for that. You'd be up for that too, wouldn't you? Yeah, definitely. It's well worth it. It's one of those books that you read it through one chunk, 42 chapters. So how long does it take?
Take a while.
Yeah, but I mean, you watch a movie for an hour and a half. You can read 42 chapters, but that gives you once you start, you'll get into it, and you'll the conversation. These two guys are talking to each other, arguing, and then God comes in. But then maybe go back and take it to your Bible study group, or read it a chapter a day or something, or it's well worth it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good. Thanks. That was Akker Davis.
Thanks, Peter. Karen, do you want to close us with a benediction?